Welcome to the deep dive. So you've asked how to see different stuff on TikTok, right? Like if you're on an iPhone or iPad, how do you get content from other regions?
Yeah, it's a really common question. Maybe you want to see what's trending in Japan or find different music or just, shake up your For You page.
Totally. And I guess the first thing to say is there isn't just a big button that says change region in the app, is there?
Nope, unfortunately not. TikTok doesn't make it quite that simple. That's kind of the challenge we're digging into today.
Right. But the good news is, even though they keep things a bit hidden, there are definitely ways, workarounds to nudge the app into showing you more international content.
Exactly. And that's our mission for this deep dive, to
Yeah.
give you some practical steps, things you can actually do to see more from the regions you're curious about.
Okay, cool. Where should we start? Maybe the language settings seems like the most obvious place.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest first thing to try. So inside the TikTok app, you tap your profile icon. Then you look for those three little lines,
Yep.
usually top right.
Got it.
Tap that, then it's settings and privacy. And then you should see language.
Okay, so once I'm in language, what's the play? Just pick the language of the country I'm interested in, like Spanish for Spain.
Pretty much. So if you want to see more content that's popular in, say, Japan,
Yeah.
you could try switching your app's display language to Japanese.
And how does that actually work? Does TikTok just assume I'm Japanese then?
Well, not exactly assume, but changing the language sends a signal. It tells TikTok, hey, this user might be interested in Japanese content. It's one piece of data they might use to tailor your feed a bit more.
But we should probably manage expectations here, right? It's not like flipping a switch and suddenly everything's different.
Oh, definitely not. It's more subtle.
Mhm.
Think of it as an influence. It
Okay.
helps, it nudges the algorithm, but it's rarely a complete overhaul on its own. It's a good starting point, though.
Right, the starting point. So if changing the language is just step one, what's next? How do you get more like direct?
Okay, this is crucial. You need to actively engage with the kind of content you want to see. You got to teach the algorithm
Teach the algorithm. Okay, how?
by using the search bar. Go looking for creators or hashtags from the region you're targeting. Search for hashtag UK comedy or find creators based in Mexico.
Ah, okay. So be proactive in finding it.
Exactly. And then when you find those videos, you need to interact with them.
Interact how? Just watching isn't enough.
Watching helps,
It's
especially
strong.
watching the whole video through. That's a big signal.
Oh,
But also liking the video, leaving comments. These are stronger indicators for TikTok.
stronger than just letting it play as you scroll past.
Much stronger, yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're actively telling the app, I like this specific thing.
Okay, so let's say I start finding and liking loads of videos from, I don't know, Brazil. What happens then?
Well, over time, the algorithm starts to notice that pattern. It thinks, this user seems to really dig content from Brazil. And gradually, hopefully, you'll start seeing more Brazilian videos pop up naturally on your For You page.
It learns from my behavior. Makes sense.
Exactly. It's all about those signals you send.
Okay, so we've got language settings and active engagement within the app. What about things outside the app? I've heard people talk about changing their app store region.
Ah, yes, that's a more involved method. It takes you out of TikTok and into your iPhone or iPad's main settings.
Right. How does that work?
Okay, so you go to the Settings app on your device, tap your name right at the very top.
My Apple ID, yeah.
Correct. Then you go to Media and Purchases, and then View Account.
Yeah.
You might need to sign in again here,
Okay.
and somewhere in there, you should find Country Region. Tap that, and you can choose a different country from the list.
Whoa. That sounds like a bigger deal than just changing the language in TikTok. How might that affect what I see on my FYP?
The thinking here is that it could influence things like trending sounds or challenges that are specific to a region. Sometimes certain audio clips or trends take off in one country first. Changing your App Store region might make you see those sooner in TikTok.
Might. Okay. But are there downsides, like things to watch out for?
Yes, definitely. This is a big one. Often, to actually change your App Store country, Apple requires you to have a valid address and, crucially, a payment method linked to that new country.
Ah, that could be tricky for most people.
It really can be. Plus, changing your App Store region affects all your purchases, subscriptions, and maybe even other apps. So it's not something to do lightly, maybe just temporarily or with, real caution.
Okay, that's a really important heads up. Definitely more complex.
Yeah.
So language, engagement, app store. What else is in the toolkit? VPNs often come up, right?
Yep, VPNs. Virtual private networks. This is another common strategy.
How do they fit into this TikTok puzzle?
So a VPN basically makes your internet traffic look like it's coming from somewhere else. You install a VPN app, choose a server in, say, Germany,
Okay.
connect to it, and then open TikTok.
And the app just thinks I'm actually in Germany.
That's the idea.
Mm.
It sees your connection originating from Germany, so it's likely to start showing you content that's popular there.
Does that work well on its own? Or is it like the language thing where it needs help?
It's generally much more effective if you combine it. Like, use a VPN set to Germany and change your TikTok language to German and actively search for and engage with German creators.
Ah, stacking the strategies.
Exactly. The VPN changes your perceived location, but your language settings and interaction history still matter. Giving TikTok all those signals together, location, language, engagement, that sends the clearest message about what you want to see.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, wow, we've covered a fair bit of ground there.
Yeah, quite a few options.
So just to quickly run through them again for everyone. First up, easiest step maybe, tweaking the language settings inside TikTok itself.
Right. Then, really important, actively engaging, searching, liking, commenting, watching videos all the way through from the regions you like.
Then the more advanced option, changing your actual Apple ID App Store country, but remembering those big caveats about addresses and payment methods.
And finally, using a VPN to make it look like you're somewhere else, ideally combining that with the other methods for the best results.
So the takeaway seems to be experiment.
Absolutely. There's no single magic formula here. Try one thing, see what happens, try combining a couple. Maybe language and engagement work well for you, or maybe you need the VPN layer too. It's about finding what mix helps curate the feed you want.
And it's worth remembering, I guess, that even while you're trying to explore globally, your For You page is always going to be, well, yours. It reflects what you watch and interact with most.
That's a great point. It's ultimately personalized. Which maybe leads to a final thought. Something to chew on.
Oh, go on.
Well, as we get better at using these tools to see content from anywhere, curated by these algorithms, what does that actually do to our understanding of different places? How does experiencing another culture's trends, mainly through TikTok, shape how we actually perceive that culture?
That's a really interesting question. Seeing the world through the algorithm's lens. Definitely something to think about.